We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. We're coming to you talking about the Nashville Rescue Mission. With us this morning is Glenn Cranfield. He's the CEO over there. And I was just thinking, as many of us at Channel 5 were there every year to help at Thanksgiving, you know, the part that's most fun is watching the kids come through and see the desserts.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, there have been pies, and the pies are fine. But this year, it was cannolis and ice cream.
That's right. That's right.
And it was great. I got to scoop the ice cream. I think I have carpal tunnel. We just kept doing it. I gave it over to Rory after a while, but I just love watching the kids come through.
You know, you mentioned the cannolis.
So who is it that made those? They handmade those.
Yes, she makes those
she is a peach. Where's she from? Belarus or something? She's from overseas.
Romania.
Romania. She is so nice.
Every year. And so for the last 2 to 3 years, we've served those cannolis, and we hear from man, that is, because we have pumpkin pie and other things, and everybody goes for the cannolis. So we said this year it's cannolis.
Cannolis, and it was a wild berry ice cream. I was like, sign me up. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to some more calls. We've got Joe next. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hey, Joe.
Just for your guest, I just wanted to give him a thank you for helping the homeless in Nashville. And I have a couple questions. What kind of programs do you have for people that has drug problems and just generally physical problems? And maybe I missed it, but where is the women's campus located?
Fair enough, Joe.
Yeah.
All right. The drug, you guys don't have doctors on staff there.
We're not a medical facility. We don't have doctors on staff, but we do have a 12-month recovery program. And so the 12-month recovery program is designed to help people get off of the drugs and off of alcohol. And we do drug testing and alcohol testing as well. And this is also a program that is a nicotine-free program, so help people getting off cigarettes. It's very important because in their overall health, we understand the problems with addictions, but also in the health area of the nicotine.
So the point where you do not tolerate smoking in the facility,
Correct.
or if someone brings in a six-pack or a bottle of whiskey. Now, if someone is recovering from an opioid addiction, is on Suboxone, okay, on a period of time. Now, do they set that up through someone there? Can they come and, as they're supposed to, have their Suboxone pill administered to them? How does that work?
Yes, that's right.
Because that's a narcotic unto itself.
Right. That's exactly right. And so we don't have the component or the capability of doing that. So they have either an extended person that helps them with that comes to the shelter. We have all kinds of partnerships of people that do things that we don't do.
They could have the Suboxone with them?
For the minute, yes, and they can take that on their own.
As long as they know if they have they may have all manner of medicines. Some may be on antipsychotics or whatever.
Diabetics.
Yeah, diabetics.
We have all kinds of things to that nature.
Okay, and then he was just saying physical. I know we've seen people go through there in wheelchairs and others.
Yes.
You have the ramps and everything. Do you do therapy at any type? You don't do physical therapy for someone, do you?
Well, we don't do physical therapy per se. We have people that come in and do massage for those clients, and we have wonderful volunteers that come in and set up the tables and do those kinds of things. But the amount of men and women, particularly in wheelchairs and on walkers and the aged, that number is just saddening, really. And to be able to provide a service such as that for them is very important. And then to bring them in as volunteers, doctors, and so forth, they can come in and work with them. So
that
we do
is
that
awesome. And so many great volunteers. Real quick, you touched on it earlier, but tell them, where's the women's?
Yeah, it's on Rosa Parks, about 1,700 Rosa Parks.
That's what I thought. All right. So, yeah, they are separate. The women and children separate from the men, which are mostly at the facility on Lafayette.
Right. One's on one side of town, and the women and children on the other side.
Gotcha. All right. Let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Good morning, Turkeyville. I was wondering how they get all that, like, turkey and ham. I know when I was younger, like when I was in military school, you serve and feed a lot of people. Must be tough to keep it, a little bit of flair to it or something without making it really bland. I remember.
That's a great question, because now I'm there on Thanksgiving, and trust me, the Thanksgiving meal has flair. And I know you can only do so much, but the chefs, cooks, the guys back there, they're good.
They're
good.
Very good.
This is not some of my old elementary school cafeteria stuff that I had growing up, and I'm sure there's some great cafeteria cooks out there, but mine growing up in Illinois, not so hot. So this is good stuff. Now, how is it day to day other than Thanksgiving? Do they try to diversify the menu? Does it depend what they eat on what you have donated at the point?
Well, I mean, it does some point, but we have a menu that we set out each week.
What's
and
typically
so,
for breakfast?
You know, they'll have typically the same breakfast food that you would have.
Yeah.
You know, eggs, scrambled eggs, oats, choices of that nature. And, you know, we have different groups in the metro area that will come and want to take a tour and want to have lunch with us. And so you know, I don't tell our kitchen crew when they're coming. And so I want them to experience that meal. And so oftentimes they'll say, well, you obviously told them we were coming. We had baked chicken for lunch. No, they had no idea.
They had no idea.
Because we want you to experience that in its raw form.
What it's like every day. So,
exactly.
So you're not putting on a show for people. And
Right.
so the donations, and we have to remember, it's a year-round thing. 3 meals a day, 365,
That's right.
not just Thanksgiving, Christmas. So the donations come in. Does that dictate sometimes what you're going to have for dinner? Do you take food from hunters?
Yes, we do.
Do people donate venison?
Venison, absolutely.
So
venison chili.
If you get a ton of venison, that, hey, maybe tonight we're having venison chili.
Sure, yeah. We'll alter the menu real quickly. We have wonderful partnerships. Music City Center, where they'll have a banquet and they'll have leftovers and wonderful things. And so that's cooked food, ready to serve.
So you need to go with that,
And
meaning,
so
okay, we just got this,
exactly.
we're serving it tonight.
Exactly. I'll tell you a really funny story is that about a year ago, you could come in the evening meal and the homeless are eating lobster from the Music City Center.
That's awesome.
You know, it was the leftover, and so we take that and make it last to make weight. They've eaten steak.
Steak, yep.
Again, it's leftovers from or what they cook in excess for the banquets and so forth. And so wonderful partnerships throughout the Nashville downtown area of like that. And those changes do make a change in our menu.
I just think that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? That's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to next up is Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hey, how's it going today?
Good morning.
I just want to say I lived at the rescue mission off and on for 2 years. I just recently got back on my feet. But I had a couple questions.
Sure.
What is the plan to reduce the violence and the drug use within the mission walls itself? And is there a plan to try to keep that building cleaner?
Yeah, so now, and I've been in there. Now, you witnessed then some fights and some instances where drugs came into the facility then, huh?
Several instances.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, do you want to address it? I
sure.
mean, there's so many people coming through. The cleanliness, I mean, and the issue of that. I mean, do you think there's a cleanliness problem?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. You know, we give tours every day, and we named our tours now the I Had No Idea tour because people are walking through, and that's what they're saying. I had no idea. I had no idea the cleanliness. I mean, the floor shines from wax, and the walls and the bathrooms areas. But you know, to the point, it's a very good point when you're dealing with 850 people. 500 men. Let's just talk about the men's facility. He's a man. 500 men coming in. And so there are 500 showers. There's a restroom facility, you know, and getting into bed. There's all kinds of that activity that takes place. And so there are times in the midst of that when it is a little bit unkept, it would seem like. And then our crew goes in afterwards and, of course, cleans all that up and tidies all that up. But it's the process of moving 500 men through that scenario, which can be challenging at times. And so regarding the drug and violent activity, you know, we do our best. We have metal detectors. Everybody passes through. And again, we try to stay ahead of what the notion is or what the new ways. But by the time we solve something, they create a new way to get, you know.
Well, you were just telling me, was it yesterday or was it the day before where you called because someone came in who was on some kind of substance and was freaking out.
He was freaking out. He was violent. And so we called the police. And so we have an immediate response to that. And so everyone that comes in, we try to make sure that they're clean and that everything's fine, and once they get in, things can happen, and so we respond immediately to that.
Okay. Have you guys had an issue with bed bugs?
We have had an issue with bed bugs.
I was just thinking with that many people coming in and out, and that's a pain to get rid of.
It is a pain, and so you know, every year we do preventative measures. We do the things that you're supposed to do, but it seems like every year we have to stay on top of it. It's just something you can't just ignore and wait for it to come at you. And so if we get any idea, any thoughts about it, then we're really, really proactive.
Okay. Let's go next to, I think we've got Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Cindy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I had friends that I guess they were at before I met them, you know, then I knew when they got transitioned out from the rescue mission, they were females, and they also were men, and they had got them all jobs, but they taught the women the computers and things like that. They gave them schooling, and they also did the men. And a lot of them, you know, they learned how to cook, and they work in the restaurants. I see them. They're happy. They train.
Looks like we didn't hang up on her. I think we lost the signal on that, but she's right. But I mean, the training and stuff, when I've been there before, I've seen you guys have had graduations.
Yes, right.
Now, that's graduating from what?
From 12-month recovery program.
The 12-month recovery program.
Right.
Do most of those after 12 months then, are they still going to be there a while? Are they ready to start venturing out into the
Well, from that 12-month, they go into transition living, and then from there, which is they have a job, and so now they're working their job, saving income, and also finding a place to live. And so the average stay in there is between 60 and 90 days, and then they're out independent with a job and an independent place to live. And so we're really thankful for that and proud of that. And so, you know, she's right. We have computer labs on both campuses.
Okay.
So we're teaching them, if you're going to do anything in the job market anywhere nowadays, you have to have just an elementary knowledge of computers. So we have the computer labs for them. We teach them. And I'll tell you what, it is so encouraging. She mentioned it, touched on it, and I smiled when I'll be out to eat somewhere with my wife at a restaurant in town, and a waiter comes by, or a waitress, or somebody comes out of the kitchen and just, you know, puts her hand on my shoulder and says, "Hey, you know, Mr. Cranfield," and I turn around, "Who?" And it's somebody that has gone through the mission and is now thankful that they have a job and a place to live and doing it. You know, that's exactly what it's all about.
And that is a cool thing about you. Again, I've been over there, not nearly enough, but you know, you're CEO, but you're right in there with everyone.
Sure.
And you get you try to get to know these people. I know you head up the graduation and all of that. You always say nice words. You go through this, but I mean, you're there. You try to get to know as many as you can.
We have an incredible staff, 150 staff members, and so they do a phenomenal job. But it's important for me to stay connected with the folks that are hurting, and so I do. I get to know them by name. I talk to them. I pat them on the back. I was walking through shelter the other day, and a guy said, "Hey, Glenn," you know, and I turned around, and it was just a homeless man, a guest, and he asked me how I'm doing. You know, and that's kind of a unique situation. He's asking me how I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, how's your day going? You know, and that's just the type of relationship we have. We want them to know that they're very valuable. They're people. They're worth the relationship.
Yeah.
And we talk with them and carry on with them and hope for the best and try to lead them to a brighter future.
It's interesting as we go to the break. There's people like you, Father Breen, of course, in town, someone who's been involved so much with the homeless. But I mean, you're CEO, you get paid. It's your job.
Sure.
You're not getting rich, but you get paid. But you get paid in such a better way.
Incredibly.
I was just going to say, I mean, maybe some people say, well, you know, that's not money. No. You get stuff that's good for your heart.
That's right. It's good for your soul.
It's awesome to see that, or see someone that's done well because of something that you're a part of. And just even when you just go over there and volunteer once in a while and see and make contact and make some people feel better, it's just amazing how that makes you feel better.
Yeah, it does.
It's a nice thing to do. You know, it's a lot going around that feels good. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, our final segment with our guests, we've got Wayne, Tony, Grady, and others. We'll get to your phone calls right after this.